Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Kevin O'Connor with Out of Here Travel. Tonight's Thursday evening, and this is the Out of Here Travel Show, Beyond the Travel Brochure. So tonight's episode is when is the best time to go? So let me give you a little story. And I see this quite a bit, and I'm reading it right now on comments of people that are in Alaska. You know, we're in mid August, and when you're trying to pick the best time to go, and a lot of times one of the fun things to do when you go to Alaska is watching the bears. And they do would you take your cruise ship up, and then they have excursions that you can pick, and some of those excursions are bear watching. And it's not really, so it could be a scenario where you get your excursions in place and you go out looking for bear, and they're not there, or there's a few of them there. So it's really not the issue, but the timing. Because initially, when a lot of these go into, is the salmon are out, or the bear are out there to feed. And one of the things you'll see in Alaska is when you have the migrating salmon come into the rivers, and bears love salmon. And a lot of times the salmon run from June, peak in about mid-July, and then they start tearing down. And then maybe August you'll see some in there, but July is the biggest month that they come through. And you get to mid-August, and then you have some leftovers that are in there, but the bears have already been feeding for a month, and then they're gone into other things. They're back in the bushes eating the berries and everything else that they get into. So they come in, the couple goes out there, they see that, they don't get the main core looking what they wanted to do. They still had a good trip. You know, they come home, and it's, did they make a bad decision? Well, they didn't get what they were ultimately looking for. But again, and I think a lot of these is when you're trying to make the right decision is timing. And there's a lot of variables that go into it. So if that's something that you're dealing with, you're in the right place tonight, because I'm going to talk about timing. And there's a lot that goes into it that you're looking for. So again, it's kind of like, here's the problem that you have, and when's the best time to go? And you're going to Alaska. Or it could even be the Florida Keys. So whether you're going, and a lot of times you'll Google, maybe you got ChatGPT now, and they go, hey, when's the best time to go to Alaska? And a lot of it will come back and will say, well, mid-July is the best. You got the longer hours, the warmer weather, and still the rainy season. But again, that's kind of usually comes in, and Key West could be the winter time. You have warmer conditions. It's not as hot, not as muggy. If you go in July, you have hurricane season. It could be a disturbance to you. So I think if you're just going to go on that, yeah. But I think the overall timing, and they do it again on cruise specials. They're thinking, okay, the biggest thing on advertising is the cruise ships want to book their ships earlier the better, so they know that they're booked. But is that the right timing? Is that the best thing you're going to get on pricing? Maybe not. But I think that's what goes into, the villain is for yourself. You don't want to be the hero. You're trying to book these great trips, is getting the right timing and what you're looking for. So my purpose, I'm a travel advisor here at Out of Here Travel, and my role, I'm the guide. Think of it, you're the hero, I'm the guide. We're getting to our destination, and we want to avoid the villains in the story. These are your storylines. So the villain is timing the right for it, and that's kind of where we come in as travel advisors. So myself, just give you a little bit of background. I personally lived in Alaska. I lived up there for 12 years. I lived in Seward, Alaska. I was in the banking industry in Alaska. I lived in Seward for about 5 years, and in Anchorage for about the 7 years the remaining time. I met my beautiful wife up there, Michelle. We had our children up in Alaska, and so I've been there. I enjoyed Alaska tremendously. I fished the Kenai Peninsula. I did fishing for salmon and red salmon in the Russian River, and then in Seward we had silver salmon was the main cohos that came in there. So you're trolling, and I lived about a block away from the beach, and I'd run down there and I could catch salmon as they come by. They were migrating up through the Resurrection River, and we actually had a fish hatchery in Seward, and that's where everybody was headed to. A lot of them in the Resurrection River itself. So I've been up there. I understand it. So timing is a big thing. So if you want to go fishing, July you're going to have to hit the Russian River. Starts in mid-June. The king salmon start running. Now there's restrictions on the Kenai than what it was when I was back there. And then also Key West. I go down there a lot. My wife and I own funandkeywest.com. We were there the first week of July or August. We just came back a few weeks ago. We've been there about 3 times this year. So there's a lot of different things that go into timing with it. So I've got a lot of history in that. I've done a lot with financial planning, working with people. And for you folks that have been through 20, 30 years, you're putting your nest days away in your retirement planning. I'm here to help you spend that wisely as a travel advisor now. I know how hard it was to accumulate it. So my job is as the guide is to make sure you're doing the right things in getting there what you're looking for, that they're going to. So that's myself. I've been up, like I say, I've been up in Alaska. I've driven up and down the Kenai Peninsula back and forth. My wife and I actually honeymooned in Denali Park. And I'm a great advocate of photography, so I've been all over doing that. So again, my experience level is helping you make the right decision of what you want to do. So if have folks in there, if you have any comments, go ahead and list them, and I'd like to see if you're having any plans where you're looking for. So let's talk about timing. And I think the biggest thing that when we have our discussion, our discovery calls, is what do you want to discover? And necessarily, it's not going to be, well, I better go in July. That's where everybody goes to. That's probably the best weather. You got the long hours. The sun's still out at 11:30 at night. So there's some special things around that area that you want to look at. Again, it's if you're going to do bear watching, when I want to go whale watching. Do you want to do salmon fishing? A lot of times we can get you sick and catch a can, and you go out on a small charter boat, and they'll go out and troll for salmon or halibut. You can do that as well too. So I think from my perspective, I think it's not necessarily the best time just by weather and summer, or just pick that as an arbitrarily thing. I said, what do you actually want to do? What do you want to see? We want to make you the hero of the trip planning, and when you come back fulfilled, you get to see what you wanted to look at. And I think that's where I really target in as your guide, is figuring out what do you want to do the experience. Okay, so if you want to do red salmon in the Russian River, we got to get you there around mid-July, early July, mid-July. If you want to try catching a salmon, now we have to go over to the Kasilof River, not the Kenai. It's restricted right now. They're trying to build up the habitat again for the king salmon. And if you want to go halibut fishing, let's say in Seward, or trolling for silver salmon, that's right now, late July or early August when they're in. You just got to have to pick the seasons. Whales come in various times. If you want to take the cruise going up in Alaska and you still want to see some snow, springtime's a great time to go to be able to do that. And it's also the shoulder season. Uh, May to mid-June, that's kind of the shoulder season when not everybody is out. July is very packed. Everybody goes out there. And then you got the mid-August to mid-September, the other shoulder season, and then less crowds. If you're not into bear watching, but you just want to look at the experience, and then all of a sudden the fall colors start coming in. And depending if you're doing a land tour in Alaska, depending on the time, if you want to see northern lights, it's got to be dark to see them. They're out all the time. It's just a matter, it's got to be dark to see them. You're not going to see northern lights in July. But towards later in, if we're going up north, especially too, if you're up in the September side, we may start to see them. You're going to have to get up late. Early 2-3 o'clock, but they'll be out. Could be out on doing that. And a special note on that: if you do go to hotels, they do Northern Lights wake-up calls, so you can go to bed. If the Northern Lights come out, they'll ring your room and say, hey, okay, they're out. Come on out and get out and see it. So, like I say, timing, fishing season could be mid-June to mid-July. Could be going into August, what you're looking to do. Wildlife season, bear activity, probably more in late June, July, because they're out there for the salmon runs. And if you go over across to the Brooks Range out there, there's special flights that you can go into the parks and see them. You see the fish coming out, jumping, and the bears are all out there catching salmon. So again, you got to be there at peak salmon run seasons that are going into it. Late August, like I say, it's going to be the fall colors. If you're going out in photography, painters that want to go, let's say you're going to go to Denali and want to look at the wildflowers and the colors that are coming up and all that to take pictures, and your painters, that would be a good time in the fall time to do that. And then, like I say, the shoulder seasons, if you just want to go up and enjoy, and you're looking at pricing levels and less crowds. So when you go in to catch a can, you don't have 4 or 5 ships. Could be, a little bit of timing. We'll look at the shoulder seasons for you, what you want to do. So let's talk about the Florida Keys. This comes up quite a bit. When do you think the best time to go to Florida? And especially if you're up in the northern states. Now, when it's snowing outside, well, heck yeah. January through March is going there. And that's classified as peak season. A lot of people go down there. A lot of snowbirds go down there. A lot of people actually have houses and condos, and they spend the winter down there. And that's when they just come. They spend the winter January through March. And it's a great time down there. Actually, they don't get a lot of rain during that period of season. In Florida, you're out of the hurricane season. And once you get past closer to Thanksgiving, that ends. Hurricane season is about over with. Your water temperatures down there are a little cooler. The air's a little cooler. And one thing about it too is your sunsets are earlier, about 5:30, versus in the summertime they're running about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So that's also an issue. If you want to go out and you want to, sunset sail is going to be earlier. If you want to do snorkeling or wave running, you can do that later. Have a longer daylight. You have longer daylight to walk. You have longer daylight to bike. Longer daylight to sit on the beach compared to the winter time. So again, that's an issue. Yes, the heat is an issue, but one thing about summer, like I say, Michelle and I were just there. We went down to Lobster Fest the first part of August, and there was less crowds. Now, Lobster Fest weekend was busy, Friday, Saturday. We got into Sunday night, and everybody kind of disappeared. And a lot of people come down from Miami and so come down for the weekend. A lot of people were there a long weekend. We went Friday and left Monday night. We did a long weekend of it, and that's typically how we do a lot of that. And we were going down. We do a lot of our marketing and photography and videos, and we took the tours this time. We're doing just doing our reports for our itinerary planning, and I was working with the historic inns down there. So your pricing's down a little bit less in the summertime than in the wintertime. So pricing's an issue. If you're just going down just to hang out, go to the restaurants, go to the music venues, go to the beach, or go, do the sunset sails, it really doesn't matter if you're not actively walking. Again, yes, it's going to be warm. It doesn't get over 100 degrees. We were down there, it was late 80s. And yeah, you just have to prepare for it. I was walking around and I was soaking wet from sweat. Everybody was telling me to hydrate here, take some water. But you just plan for your activities. You're not going to do a 5-mile walk, in which I did about 4 miles walking around town. But again, what's the main purpose you want to do? You want to go fishing. Now, in Key West, there's various fishing seasons. When you get to the winter time, like right now, you go out, you can do tuna, mai. A little bit earlier, they had sailfish are in. But when you get into the winter time, it's the tuna's possibly not there. You got kingfish. You just have a smaller fishing venue of species you want to look at. So that's an option you need to look at what you're going to do. But a lot of people say, well, January through March is the best time. But again, in Key West, they have about every month there's like a special activity going on. October, they're well known for Fantasy Fest. July, Hemingway Days. That's kind of a fun time. I like Hemingways. And you get into March, you've got the Conch Republic Days, March. And I like going down for that. So if you want to go specifically for a special event, and then this Labor Day weekend, they're doing a special tribute to Jimmy Buffett, all amongst friends. They're doing their second annual tribute to Jimmy Buffett. So if you're a Jimmy Buffett fan, Mac McAnally's going to be out there on Saturday doing a free show out there in the park. So those are the things you also want to look at. It's going, yeah, it's a little warm. But again, you just plan for it. Go out at night. You can do walking at night instead of the daytime. At 2-3 o'clock, go do something else. If you go to the butterfly garden for a couple hours and enjoy the birds and the butterflies, and it's air conditioned. So in the middle of the day, you don't want to do that, or get up early in the morning. That's what we typically do. So I think, and also, but so that's the Florida Keys. You look at it, and I think there's options to do, but if you're going to go in the winter, and you want to get out of the snow out of Chicago, yeah, that's a great time to go. And it probably doesn't matter what you do as long as you have flip-flops and a pair of shorts on, and you don't have to shovel snow. So again, that's a great thing. But if you want to go see some of the various festivals times, you like to go to Hemingway Days, you're not going to be able to see that, so you're going to have to go in July. So that's a thing we have to look at as travel advisors. I look down to what you want to do and see how we can make it memorable for yourself. And it's not just, I'll just go because I'll go and get out of the snow. If that's 100% of what you want to do, that's great. Maybe look at some other activities that want to do too. And also my Key West fans, cruising. If you want to do a Caribbean cruise, you want to come down, we can get you in Key West for the day. Celebrity Cruise Line in the winter comes around about every week. Also American Cruise Lines, they come down in the wintertime. One of their runs comes around the Gulf in Key West, and actually when I was down there in March, they were overnight, stayed. So you come down, you got two days in Key West. Everybody was enjoying that, and you already have your floating hotel out there, so you don't have to worry about housing. That's part of the trip, and you already have your floating hotel comes there. They park at Mallory Square, and then you get, enjoy the night. You got the day activities, and the nights you can do all the museums during the day, and then entertainment at night and good food. So it's a great thing to do on that. So again, maybe the springtime is a good time to go if you don't want to do the winter time. Less crowds. Once you get away from spring break weeks, that's a great time to go. October is a good time to go as well. Around the third week of October, they got Fantasy Fest. And there's a little bit of, a Mardi Gras mixed into fantasy type things, and it's something you wouldn't want to bring the kids down to that week. Let me just say that. It's more adult activity, but you just want to check that one out. If you come early, in October, you're okay, but just make sure Fantasy Fest. But I kind of like the Fantasy Fest. There's some activities like the zombie bike ride on the first weekend. So it's a week-long activity. Saturday night's the big thing. But if you could stay off of Duval Street down in the four corners, the 4-block area, you can avoid that. But the zombie bike ride would be a fun activity for kids. They all dress up in the zombie outfits, and they run a bike thing through town, and it's a big event. A lot of families participate, so there's something to look at. Again, is it the right time? Just don't go to the calendar and the weather. Winter, I want to go to Florida. There's a lot of different activities. Pricing, if pricing's a concern to you, you look at the off season. It's like anywhere. Peak season of anything is going to be the high time, and if you're budget contact, look at it and other options that you want to do as well. So again, for me, it's fishing. What's the species in there that I want to go after? Who's playing? What events are there? What activities they have going on? If I'm going to be in the water and the air temperature, it's a little chilly in March. So, it's winter. And if the winds come down from the north, it's going to be chillier than if it's coming out of the south from the Caribbean. So again, that's just challenges you have, and again, what do you want on doing that? So again, it's the timing. The success of it is going to be what you want to achieve. I think that's the big thing. So if you just say, hey Kevin, I want to go to the rivers, I want to fish for salmon, let's get you on a land tour in Alaska. We can get you, even if you don't take the cruises, you can do the cruise, and then you can do the land tours. But again, we can get you to Alaska, and we can get you from Anchorage, driving down to the Kenai Peninsula, and get you out there and do some, we call it combat fishing, because there's a lot of people who do it. But I think those are the things to look at. If you're in the Florida Keys in April, you're going to have a great time. It's a little bit of off season to go. You're not there it's heat. You don't have the crowds, and everybody's kind of leaving after March. April would be a good time to go too, that you want to do. Again, if you're an outdoor person as well too, you got to look at the daylight hours. A lot of times you get up and then 5:30. If you want an early sunset sail, and 5:30 to by 7 o'clock you're done, and then you can go out for the entertainment, and that's okay. Instead of the other way in the summertime when it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you're coming back towards 10 o'clock, and then you want to go out. It's a little bit different. So again, something to think about that you want to do there. So when's the right time? On cruising, there's some great deals that come up, and the one thing that's called wave season for us is like January, February, March, December it starts. That's when the pricings are good. Trying to get you for the next year. Right now we're looking at 27, 28 activities pricing. As travel advisors, we have more rates than the marketed rates that you see if you go to the cruise companies' websites. I get better pricing. I can look for better pricing. I have avenues for group pricing that you can get involved in. We have a lot of little different offers than what you do. And again, about how we get paid on that is we get paid commission from the company, and it's already booked in the price. So if you call the cruise company and their 1-800 number, you're going to get the same price that I can get if I go off the straight rate. The difference is they're paying me the commission. It's already built into the price. They're just going to keep it themselves, and it goes towards their payroll expense. But it's already built in. So, but again, for me, I have a little different. Might have some different avenues that I can get into to look for pricing that's not non-advertised on there. So I could probably maybe come up with some better deals for you than you're just calling the 1-800 number. Again, the group pricing, we get a little bit better selection of some cabins as well too, because we're doing it early. The key to cruising is the earlier you book, the better selection you have on the cabin selections, and there's a science to that. So I hope that helps you about timing. There's more to it than a Google search or ChatGPT. I think we got to dive into it a little bit more, what you want to experience. I think at the end of the day, you want to come home and be fulfilled and go, man, it made my checklist. Everybody's got a checklist. So what I want to see. I want to see a bear. I want to see a whale. I want to eat some king crab. You know, and I love halibut, and this is a great source. Some people don't like salmon. Halibut's always good. Rock cod. It's kind of like me in Key West. It's grouper. I like the grouper. And all the fish. When I go down to Key West, I'm just eating fish. That's all. I'm eating. You want to know the best steak? I don't know. I don't eat steak when I go to Key West because I get it everywhere else I go. But they have places down there. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just looking for seafood that I can't get. It's very hard to get here in West Virginia. So I'm just used to that. So I hope it's made a little bit clearer, helping you solve your problem. I'm the guide. I want to help you be the hero in your travel planning. We want to keep the villains away, the unknowns. We want to be able to make sure we're in place. I help you fight off villains. Stuff happens on your trip. You miss a flight. Lost baggage. They don't have your reservation. How many times have you heard that? And there's even some horror stories out there for cruise lines. I don't have it. I don't know where it is. So that's what we do. And Out of Here Travel, give you an invitation to call. Go to outofheretravel.com, my website. Book a time. It's kind of a 3-step process. Number one, we have a discovery call. It's free. Just I want to know what you want to do. What do you like to do? What's your must-sees that you want to do? We can help you plan the timing of it to make it special for you. Number two is I go to work and put together the itinerary for you that you want, present it to you. If it makes sense, we book it. All right. And number three, you don't go alone. I'm a phone call away. I'm always checking in with you as well too. Hey, how's it going? Are things okay? And then when things happen, I'm here. You're calling me. You're not sitting on a 1-800 number for 2 hours. Now you're number 50th in line. You call Kevin. Hey, Kevin. And then I have a special travel advisor call line that I go into. A little bit different than the general 1-800 number that we have. But again, that's kind of what we are. And like I say, do the thing. And I really think the best trips don't happen by accident. They happen with a plan, and then really somebody at your corner to help you guide. And that's where I come in, the guide service. So I want you to become the hero of the story, of your story and your family, and you're making your partner, you're going, hell, that's come back and going, wow, that was a fantastic trip, and looking to do it again. So with that, thank you for your time. I'll be back next week on Thursday evening, 7 o'clock. And we'll have another topic next week to help you become the hero of your family and your travel planning. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Kevin from Out of Here Travel.